What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Daily Show. We're back for another Saturday, coming at you early here. Got to go a little bit earlier on Saturdays because of those early kickoffs in college football. Papa Dude, a big day ahead. What are you looking forward to the most today? College football, baseball, racing? What is it?
Oh, you know what it is. That's a dumb question. It's definitely college football. I'm looking forward to just sitting down today. This moving has been so stressful. It looks like it's coming to an end in a good way. OU plays at 2:30. I'm looking forward to just sitting and enjoying that game without any stress whatsoever. I don't know how good a game it'll be, but that's what I'm looking forward to. There's not a lot of big games on the slate today, so it's one of those days you just kind of sit back and enjoy it.
Sometimes when there's not a lot of big games on the slate, that's where it gets a little bit crazy. Do you foresee that today? I mean, I know that's kind of the definition of crazy is you don't really foresee that coming, but
right.
I personally, it's like some of those weeks late in the season, that's when you see it happening where it's just nuts and who would have thought, but I don't know today. Do you?
I don't see many upsets. Here's the deal today. I texted you a while ago. I said there's a lot of things I like, but I don't love anything because I don't have a good enough sampling yet. We don't know for sure. I can see these point spreads really screwing everything up, So I don't have a lot of confidence betting point spreads yet because I just haven't seen enough of these teams. A lot of stuff I like today, but I don't love anything. So, but I to answer your question, I don't see any major upsets on the horizon today. I would be shocked if there's some big timers.
Yeah, I would be shocked as well, but that is college football in a nutshell. Sometimes you do get pretty surprised by some of this. So,
but you look at the top teams; they should survive today. They should be fine.
It would be some monumental upsets if they don't. All right, let's get to a couple that I think might be upsets. We're not saying they're going to be. We'll see what our thoughts are here. Kansas State is a 3.5-point favorite today at Missouri. I thought this was a really interesting game of the early slate, total sitting at 49. K-State ran the Tigers out of Manhattan last year, just dominated Missouri. Now you get the payback game. Missouri doesn't look great. K-State has looked really good through 2 weeks. What do you think about this game?
Well, we talked about this on our show Thursday. This is one of those lines that doesn't make any sense to either one of us. K-State should be favored by more than this. For a lot of reasons, not just they played a little bit better than Missouri has this year, but they won the Big 12 last year. They killed Missouri in Manhattan. Missouri doesn't appear to be a lot better than they were last year. I mean, they appear about the same, and they're not awful, and they're certainly capable of winning. Very fishy line, and I know where you're going with this. You don't like these lines, and we've been beat so many times. Probably going to stay away from this, but I can't take Missouri. I just can't take them. I did all my eyes and knowledge and stuff that I've seen says Kansas State's going to cover. But for some reason, that line is 3.5, and I don't know why.
Yeah, Mark's saying if Missouri doesn't improve offensively, they don't have a chance, and I agree. I just kind of feel like they're gonna cover. I don't know if they're gonna win,
yeah,
but
it's weird.
Such a fishy line. I think Missouri's going to cover. I think they're going to play better than they played the first couple of weeks.
Well, I do too.
K-State looks like a pretty good team. They've played. No, I mean, last week wasn't a bad opponent for them, and they kind of steamrolled them. So
they did. They're well coached.
Yeah,
they're the type of team that offensively plays well on the road because they can control the clock if they need to. There's just so many things they can do, and they play well on the road. Their style fits on the road. Talent-wise, they're probably fairly even with Missouri across the board, I would say. But talent doesn't always win, and this team fits their style.
Yeah.
I just don't see Missouri winning. I just don't. I just cannot see it.
It's hard to see it provided the evidence we have.
Yeah.
Right. But it's also very weird that Vegas is begging people to take K-State.
They are.
If you look at the metrics, if you look at anything, K-State should win the game today.
Oh yeah.
So for them to only be 3.5, I think Vegas is got a little bit of a suspicion on this one. The line never moved all week either.
No.
So That was weird too. I thought that thing might float up a little bit. It did not. So
I am too. Yeah, K-State doesn't get respect.
no,
They
they don't.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
And but Missouri doesn't deserve to get this respect either. That's the catch right there. Why are they getting this respect?
Well, they don't usually either.
No,
So
and it's
that's
weird.
for me, like my logic, everything tells me K-State's going to win. They're a lot
Yeah,
better than Missouri, but the line tells me Missouri's going to cover. That's
I
where I'm
know.
at with it. So.
It's really weird.
So I'll take my chances with Missouri, even though if you're a K-State fan, don't take that as a knock. I
No,
like that football team a lot.
okay.
I don't know. When I see these lines, it's always weird. All right, let's go on to the next one. Minnesota and North Carolina. North Carolina 7-point favorite here. Both teams 2-0. Boy, North Carolina looked great against South Carolina, then had to survive a tough one against Appalachian State. I give North Carolina credit for winning that game. We knew that was going to be tough. They did it. Minnesota, no offense, playing good defense. So typical Minnesota. What do you think? 7 points. That's not a lot of points if you like North Carolina.
That's right. This is another one. It's a sneaky good game. I think it's an interesting game. You got two contrasting styles. Minnesota, if they can run the ball, has a good chance, because they can control the clock, keep the ball away from North Carolina. That's their chance. They don't throw the ball very well. So they've got to be able to run it against North Carolina. If North Carolina can control that, they should cover. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better offense. They are at home. Mm-hmm. It's awfully hard for me to take Minnesota in this game for those reasons.
These games are always the toughest for me with the contrasting styles, like you said. And I think this game comes down to who controls the pace of play, right? Will Minnesota be able to make this a physical game, control the ball, run the ball, and keep it low scoring? If that happens, I think Minnesota could pull an upset. But for me, I just think Minnesota, the lack of offense is just going to come up and bite them. I don't think Minnesota will be able to hold North Carolina down, especially here at North Carolina. I think, big game one for North Carolina. They probably didn't play quite as well game two, but they won. I think they bounced back, played better game three. I'm going to take the Tar Heels here. Good game, though, an interesting game. If you like college football, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Also, if you like college football, Tennessee and Florida is always a big-time game. It's faded over the years. It hasn't been quite as big, but that's still a massive rivalry. Tennessee, a 5.5-point favorite, going down to Gainesville to take on the Gators today. Total 56.5. Listen, both these teams haven't looked great. The difference is Florida played somebody and got beat, where Tennessee hasn't really played anybody and just kind of struggled in wins. So what do you think? Who gets it right here? I think it's a huge game today for both teams.
It is. And we're going to find out a lot about Tennessee today, I think, because we don't know. We don't know. This line's going down. Mm-hmm. It was 7.5 early in the week. So that's a significant drop for some reason. The Florida team that we saw at Utah, and again, Utah's tough defensively, weak at quarterback, offensively just not very good. I thought their defense played all right, but offensively not very good, and they bounced back against a nobody last week. Tennessee is struggling a little, and we just simply don't know. I'm staying totally away from it. I could see Florida winning. I could. I don't know what Tennessee's quarterback is like. We know who he is, but he's coming off injuries, hasn't been real impressive. This is a tough game for the Vols. If they go down there and win, I think they're pretty good. I really do.
I think this could be an entertaining game. Yeah. I would take the over if I'm playing anything in this game. I think 56.5. I know it's a lot of points, but I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I don't think Tennessee has much of a defense, so I think Florida will be able to run some basic stuff and score. But I think Tennessee offense will be all right. I would take the over. They're kind of begging you to take Tennessee. It feels like with this line moving down. I don't know what side to take, to be honest, with the point spread. I think Tennessee's going to win. I guess I would favor Tennessee minus the 5.5 if you made me take a side. That's probably low enough now where I would take it, but I'm kind of with you. I was not fully sold that Tennessee was all the way back last year. I thought they were really good. They did a really good job, but it was really all offense. And that's the worry. Now that the quarterback is gone, it's like, okay, What do we have here? And can we go win a game? If you have to win it 28-24 in the Swamp tonight, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they can do that. So
if I was a Tennessee fan, I don't care how I win this game. I just want to get a W.
Any win is a good win for either team. There's no doubt. A 1-point win would be just fine for either team tonight.
And to further your point on them not being all the way back, you don't go to South Carolina and get killed like they did last year if you are all the way back. You just don't.
Yeah, people that may not realize that blew a chance at the college football playoff. They would have been in it.
They would have been in.
The loss to Georgia, sure, it hurts to lose to Georgia, but if they beat South Carolina, they would have been in the college football playoff. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the races of the day. We got 2 races of the day today. We're going to go to Churchill Downs, and we're got a Kentucky Oaks prep race, believe it or not, and a Kentucky Derby prep race, the first ones of the season. Let's start race 7. Let's start with the Pocahontas here at Churchill Downs. 1-mile race, grade 3 event, $300,000. Like I said, the first prep for the Oaks, field of 9. Papa Dude, who do you like in this one?
Well, I think this is the tougher for me anyway of the 2. What about you? Did you think this was a little harder? Did you? To me, there's a really good horse in the 9 potential.
I think this one has more horses in it that have potential to be really good.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So I struggled a little bit with this one. I wrote down 5 horses. I really like 3 of them. I like the 9 a lot. Coming off a win last time out. Let me get to the page here where I can review all this. Hang on just a second. Okay, the 9 is Hot Beach.
Yep.
Won $150K at Ellis on the 13th of August by 2 lengths. Beat a couple of horses in this. Beat the favorite in this as well. So I think you got to look at the 9. Hot Beach kind of stalks the pace and comes and gets them. Pretty impressive, and hadn't actually broke the maiden. That was his first win or her first win. So pretty impressive. Then you got to look at the 7, the horse that is the favorite. And what happened in the first 2 races that the 7 ran, got to the front early. Well, they wired one of them, and when she broke her maiden, she got to the front fairly early and took off. And won by 8, and then was in a 200K stakes and wired the field and won by 8 3/4. And that was at Churchill in May. Then they brought her back in August at Ellis, finished 3rd in that race we were talking about that Hot Beach won, but she stumbled out of the gate and she didn't get to the front. Okay, if this horse gets to the front today, I think you better watch out. So there is other speed in the race. I also like the 6 a little bit as well. VV's Dream, another one that has ran well in the maiden and then came back and finished 2nd in a stakes at Ellis in July. I'm going to go with the 7. You almost had me.
Yeah, 7's going to be kind of in a way, a little bit of the mystery horse in a sense that, okay, we broke the maiden in April. We won a stakes in May, but that's when not a lot of 2-year-olds are running. So then you come back at August 13th in that stakes at Ellis, but you didn't get to really see what she was made of because, like you said, compromised at the start, right? Yeah. So what is she? Was she just an early bloomer and they're going to catch up to her, or is she the real deal? We're going to find out today, as long as she gets out of the gate. So yeah, I like that pick as well. I think it's an interesting one. I think it's a 4-horse race between the 1, the 6, the 7, and the 9. I think those are the 4 that could be really good coming out of this. I put number 9 Hot Beach on top. The maiden race was got beat by Here You Come Again, who came back to run 2nd in a stakes. And then last time out was able to beat, like you said, the horse. I know the horse stumbled the 7, but was able to beat the 7, as a nice 2-length of victory. It's a horse that I think stretching out from 5 furlongs to 7 furlongs, she looked better. I think she'll look even better going a mile. I like Omaha Beach as a young sire here. So I think Hot Beach is going to be tough. So I put the 9 on top, nearly put the 6 VV's Dream on top, but I think this horse will actually be the favorite by the time they go to post. I think you have to use her. I'm going to try to beat her with a little bit of a price. I think Hot Beach will be around 3-1. So I'll take the 9. I do like the 6 quite a bit. I like your 7. I want to mention the one. That's the last one I put on the ticket today. Norm Cassie, an incredible meet up at Saratoga, just dominated. Dominated with the horses that he had up there. He didn't have many, but they all ran well. This was one of them. Him and Santana have been fantastic together. We'll see if the horse can step up. A maiden win in Saratoga is nice. Now you got to face these horses. I think in a normal year, I would, for the Pocahontas, I'd probably lean Empire Island. But boy, Vivi's Dream, you almost had me Hot Beach. These horses look good to me. So, I couldn't put Empire Island on top, but I think she's got a really solid chance here as well. So, all right, let's move on to the Iroquois. You kind of mentioned it. You thought there was a horse that could be really good in this race. So I'll let you kick it off. Race 9, the Iroquois, grade 3 event here, going a mile as well. First Kentucky Derby prep race. All right, Papa Dude, who you got?
Well, these 2-year-olds, we know how they are. Yeah, they're very, very hard to figure at this stage of their career. You know where I'm going. I'm going with the 8, Risk It, out of Gun Runner for Asmussen. I remember watching this race on that day at Saratoga, and a 4-length easy win. And that's pretty impressive. I don't know what the horse beat, but it doesn't matter. You got to kind of consider this horse as an up-and-comer. We know what Gun Runner has produced. We know Asmussen pretty well. And this is a logical move to put the horse here. So I really like Risk It in this race. I looked at the 9 a little bit. Patriot Spirit, very impressive opening win on the 25th, but that was at Colonial, so you got to consider the competition. Won by 6 lengths. Seize the Gray, number 6, is another one that, I don't know, you might, D. Wayne's got that horse. Broke his maiden at Saratoga, came back and ran okay in 150K stakes, finished 3rd. So, could be a threat, but I just can't get past the 8 and Asmussen. I don't really see anything that's going to change my mind on that one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a big race for this Risk It. I was I was told this horse was pretty good on that debut, so bet the horse that day. I was actually at Top Golf in Northwest Arkansas when this horse broke its maiden, and I had it on my iPad, and I thought, boy, that looked like a really, really nice one. And we'll see. This is the next test, right? I mean, with the pedigree, you would think the stretch out shouldn't be a problem. With the way he kind of finished up the race, you wouldn't think that'd be a problem stretching out here to a mile. So I like Risk It quite a bit. I'm with you on that. I like the 8 horse. I think the 7 Gettysburg Address is really interesting if we get the price of 12-1, which I'm very, very thinking we're not. Probably not. But if the horse is somewhere around there, Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, horse won by 3/4 of a length on debut at Ellis. So the horse wasn't highly thought of by the betting public, was 8-1 in that race, but was able to get the job done. I thought Gettysburg Address made a lot of sense here. Another horse I think will stretch out really well. You mentioned Seize the Gray. Yeah, I've got that horse in 3rd. I don't know. I don't think this horse is quite good enough. I think the key, though, if the pace kind of melts down, I think the 6 could come up and close pretty well and maybe get the job done. I was there on July 29th at Saratoga when the horse broke its maiden. Just a stubborn horse. Just would not let the other ones get by that day. The whole stretch, you're like, well, somebody's probably going to come get him. Would not let him by. So I think he's got some quality. I don't know if he's quite good enough. So I got the 6 Seize the Gray there in 3rd. Any final thoughts before we move on to the best bets?
No, I think these 2 are going to be really good races. I'm really looking forward to see how Risk It backs up that debut at Saratoga.
One thing that I love college football, but it does kind of, I feel bad for horse racing when college football starts because it does kind of overshadow. Churchill Downs has a great card today, great card. Belmont has Belmont at the Big A has a solid card. Woodbine has great racing. This is a great racing day, and I feel like sometimes people will forget that. But yeah, these are interesting races. They're good betting races. I know Churchill's got the Wicked Halo race. That's probably not a good betting race, but all these other ones really are good. So make sure to keep an eye on it today. And if you're watching this program, you're probably going to watch the racing as well. I know, but it's good stuff today. Very good stuff. Hey, before we get to their best bets, Robin has been on a heater with college football.
Yes,
I want to read these out for people and give him a shout out. First of all, he's been on fire. So here's who he likes today. Mississippi State +9. I think that's good, Papa Dude. I think that's interesting game down there. It starts.
I do. I wish it was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
The 9 kind of bothers me just a little. I could see that being really, really close, and LSU punches one in late, and you get beat by 10. That's what worries me a little bit on that one. But it's a solid choice because of what LSU look like, and going into Starkville's not easy for sure.
Yeah, Rob, I hope he didn't just seal your fate there. I hope that doesn't happen to you tonight. Duke -17. I feel like that's a good play. They're playing Northwestern. Dukes look very good. Northwestern kind of in some peril. UNC, we talked about it. I think we all like it. And then Rutgers -7. What did you think of that one?
Oh, God. Tell me again who they're playing.
That's why I asked you, because I did
Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. I'm pretty sure they're playing Virginia Tech. And Tech has not shown much. And Rutgers is playing fairly well.
Yep. And
it's a big game for them. That's just one. How much do you trust a team like Rutgers?
Yeah.
That's the problem I would have with that. I think that's your most risky one, just because how much can you trust Rutgers? So I think you're banking, Rob, that Virginia Tech's terrible and Rutgers is going to be ready to play. And that's a pretty good idea. That's a pretty good way to go.
Yeah. Shiano, who did a great job at Rutgers the first time he was there, is back. If for people that don't know, I think this is year 3. It's been a big rebuilding process, just like you thought it would be, but they are playing pretty well. Virginia Tech, man, what a team that, we used to talk highly of, and they just haven't been good for a long time.
And Rutgers is one of those teams that needs to be in a different conference. They don't fit in the Big Ten.
They probably need to be in the ACC. Yeah, I would think
they may go 4-0 however many non-conference games they play, and then hit that Big Ten and skid a little bit. It depends on who they play. If I was Rutgers and a Rutgers fan, if I could get to the middle level of the Big Ten, I would be pretty satisfied, I think.
Yeah. Their first Big Ten games, the 2 of them are at Michigan, at Wisconsin.
Those are the first 2?
Those are the first 2.
Yeah. It's tough.
Not going to be easy for Rutgers after this, and puts the stress. This is a huge game. They need to get this one this week. Yeah. So, all right. Good luck. Hopefully, you cash those today, Rob. I've got them saved here on my computer. I'm going to follow them along as I go through the rest of the day. These days are crazy for me because you got horse racing on this computer and horse racing on this computer, and the football's on the big screen, and then I'm checking my phone for the baseball games. This is going to be a crazy day. All right. Let's get to the best bets. We'll stick with the horse racing theme since we're talking about it. We'll talk about mine here. I'm going to go Woodbine Race 9. I really like number 1 Master of Seas today in the Woodbine Mile. Now, I don't know if we're going to get a price good enough to bet a win, so I do have a backup. But for me, Master of Seas just looks like the class of this field by a large margin. I don't like the competition quite so much in this one. I think Master of Seas just outclasses this group. Now, sometimes in grade 1 races like this, a horse like this will go off at a price that's playable to win. I totally understand that may not happen. So I'm going to go a simple 1-2 exacta, 1-2 straight exacta, if the 1 is not a bettable price to win. So the backup bet here is just a straight 1-2 exacta. I did this, I think that's been a week or 2 ago with the Carl Spackler race at Saratoga. Hey, Spackler's my bet. If that doesn't happen, give me the straight exacta. So I'll do the same thing here. 1-2 straight exacta. If Master of Seas is bettable to win, I'll just take him to win. So that's what I'm going with. We'll do Magics real quick. He's going the Houston Astros -0.5 run in the first 5 for +100. I think it's a good bet, but Papa Dude, talk about the Astros a little bit.
I hate the Astros
After last night, I hate the Astros. Yeah.
So that's why I went like that. Not because I think it's a bad bet.
So the Astros were playing 1-15 Zach Greinke last night. Spoiler alert, he's now 2-15.
Yeah.
But in a game the Astros desperately need. I mean, them,
It's the
Texas.
Royals.
Yes, them, Texas, and Seattle are in a battle against the Royals. The Astros lose 4-2. They scored 2 runs.
2 runs. Shut out until the 8th inning, wasn't it?
Maybe 7th or
like
8th.
that.
I was so upset. But anyway, ruined some parlays for us. Yeah. So today, and I did not even look at this game. I was so mad.
No, I hate Houston.
Let's see. The Astros have France on the mound against Ragans for Kansas City. I mean,
and you know what?
JP France is really good. I would think but you never know.
Well,
I mean, they should, but they should have last night too.
I had a plus 178 parlay.
And
they were supposed to be the cinch.
Right.
And then I had over 7 in the Angels and Tigers, which ended up 11-2.
Yep.
That was the one I was kind of worried a little bit because neither one of those can hit much. And it was 11-2. And then this one. Unbelievable.
I know. It was infuriating without any doubt.
Terrible.
All right, let's stick to baseball. You're going to the Baltimore Orioles today, plus 105 at home against the Rays. They need a win. They've lost 2 in a row in this series.
Yeah. Well, again, I wanted to do college football, but I don't have enough sampling yet to really feel comfortable on any of these. That I considered 7 games as my best bet in college football. I went with Liberty last week, and I almost went with them again today, but I just keep thinking, you don't want to go to the well too often with those kind of teams. Yeah. And they're on the road, and they're not really playing that well. They're squeaking by kind of. So that's the one I had circled, and the more I looked into it, I don't know. I don't want to go with them too. So I scratched that one off. Then I wanted to go with Iowa because they're minus 28. Iowa doesn't cover 28. And then I kept thinking, okay, one of these days they're going to cover 28. It probably would be today.
I could have sworn you would go the plus 28 and not take Iowa.
Well, I got to looking, Aaron, in Western Michigan is god awful. They cannot move the ball at all.
They obviously are bad if they're 28-point underdogs against Iowa.
And they may get shut out. They might.
Yeah.
And so I got to think, okay, because Iowa's good on defense. So you got to think to yourself, Western Michigan's not going to score more than 10.
Right.
And so if they turn it over and he blocks and punt, you know how Iowa is. They could score 21 points on defense. They could. So I've checked it out.
I think you look at they just real quick. Western Michigan went to Syracuse last week, got beat 48-7,
and they ran the kickoff back for a touchdown.
So that is a problem. I get it.
Yeah. So I was really scared of that. And then I really think Western Kentucky's got a chance to cover against Ohio State today. But how many times have we seen Ohio State go put 60 on somebody?
Yeah.
And I was scared of that one.
I don't think that's going to happen today, but it is one of those things. If you take that as your best bet at the end of the day, you go, well, that was really dumb.
It was really dumb. That's what I was thinking. You just don't. Then you got, I really think South Alabama, 7 tonight. Plus 7 at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's another team, gets no respect. I know they're not playing real well, and I know they have quarterback issues, but I got to think they're going to win it. But I'm not confident.
I think that line's low for sure. Like I think this should be more like 10.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But Oklahoma State's got quarterback issues, and I think they're starting another guy tonight, their 4th one or something I read a while ago. And South Alabama's not bad, so I didn't feel comfortable there. And the other one, the Kansas State game, we've already discussed. And then the other one, I really think Fresno State's going to beat Arizona State tonight. But it took 2 overtimes for them to beat Eastern Washington, an FCS school, last week.
I know
it. So anyway.
Now, to be fair, that is a very good FCS school.
It is
one of the best.
On.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
I know.
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that's not your normal FCS.
Right. So I couldn't do it. So what did I stick with? I stick with baseball because we have a very good sampling of baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the Orioles because it's all about how much respect do you have for Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Tampa's won the first 2 of the series. Is Baltimore going to tank it? If you believe they are, then you stick with Tampa, which is favored tonight. I think the Orioles will come out and win because I think they're pretty darn good. This is a huge game. These 2 teams are tied for the AL East division, and that is a big deal to win that division and stay out of that wild card.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Baltimore to turn it around tonight and win. I just have a feeling they're going to come out and beat the Rays tonight because the Rays have won the first two, and I think Baltimore's as good as Tampa. So I'm going with Baltimore plus 105 tonight.
It's a big game. Rodriguez on the mound for Baltimore against Glasnow for Tampa. The pitching matchup, honestly, that does favor Tampa a little bit. But that doesn't mean it. They're a lock to win. I mean, you see that all the time.
Yeah.
And they get beat. I think here's the deal. Glasnow is not Eflin, right? Eflin pitched last night, and he's a stud. Glasnow's not that, but he's good, but he's not like a shutdown guy. So
no.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take the Dodgers tonight as well. I just have a feeling Seattle's going to win tonight. I just have a feeling. I don't know.
Take the Dodgers.
I know. So anyway,
right.
I went ahead and stay with baseball, even though I have a lot of good feelings on some football games, but I don't trust myself yet on those for a best bet.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. We'll see what happens. You gave out a bunch of them, so if you want more action, then this is the best bet. So he gave out a bunch, so you can write those down and play along. We're getting ready to kick off about 29 minutes, so you'll have a full day of action. All right, let's get to the best bets. Get you out of here. Get your banner off there. There we go. All right, best bets. I'm going to go Woodbine Race 9, number 1, Master of the Seas. If the horse falls to a too low of a price to bet, a win on, I will just, I just dropped that. I'll just go a 1-2 straight exacta in that race. The backup bet is a 1-2 straight exacta. Magic going Astros, first 5 minus a half run at plus 100. We'll see if they'll bounce back after piss poor effort last night. And then you're going to go the Orioles plus 105 to bounce back and try to get a win here, get back up into the division against the Rays. Horrible week, Papa Dude. It has been horrible. We really haven't been close. We're still up $35 for the year, but we have got to bounce back. I felt pretty good about the bets yesterday and didn't go well. Hopefully today is better. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. Good luck. Everybody enjoy a great Saturday, and we'll be right back here regular time tomorrow.